Today on my channel Planner and Faith Friends, I'm going to talk about how to create a Bible/faith study on a budget. And I also want to delve in and show you my Advent journal, which I created last week. And it was really, I have to tell you, I just loved the video and I did research, and I'm going to talk today about that. And it's going to be a twofer, if you will. And by the time this drops on Sunday, I will have an Advent devotional for you for week 1 in Advent available for free that I'll link in the description below. So pull a cuppa and join me, friends. Please stay tuned. Hello, Planner and Faith Friends, and welcome to my channel. I am one crafty Dolo. My name is Dolores. Dolo is a long-standing nickname. I had it before J-Lo. On Sundays on my channel, it's always about Jesus, faith studies, Bible studies, prayer journaling, creative faith, and I always have a good mug of tea. Just plain black tea today in my very happy Advent mug there, sitting there, my cat mug. All right, so I am so thrilled with my recent videos, and I'm not being an egoist here. I'm just saying I'm glad that I'm reaching more people. I'm so grateful for this space. If you're new, join my growing community. We have a lovely, lovely group here, and I'm very proud of this space we're creating on the internet. If you're returning, well, you have kept me lifted up this year, certainly, and I don't know that I can thank you enough, but I'll keep trying. So thank you so much for helping me through this walk. So before I get into the Bible study, I want to get into the Advent journal. I decided to create it last week. I'll drop that video below where I talk about what Advent is and what it is for us. And I think that's really 2 important points. And so you can watch that when you can. But I want to remind you there's 4 weeks of Advent, 4 Sundays. So this video will drop Sunday, the first Sunday in Advent. And every week of Advent, there is a theme. And so week 1 is hope, week 2 is peace, week 3 is joy, and week 4 is love. So I went ahead and did this because I want you to see where we're going. And by the time this drops Sunday, I should have a free Advent devotional for you available on my Medium page. For those of you who are not familiar with Medium, it's just like Substack. It's a platform where you can write, and that's my chosen platform. So here's what I did for my Advent journal, and I'm going to tie in a few things. So as I said, week 1 is hope. If you haven't done a Bible study on the book of Isaiah, please do so. It really portends the coming of Jesus and is often referred to as the 5th gospel. I'm going to show you real quickly. I did a faith study, 2, in Isaiah. So what I did is I pulled this back out, and I call it a faith study because I'm talking about who is Isaiah and what I'm learning, and I talk about I do write the scripture down and study the scripture, but I'm also trying to place people and places and circumstances of those who wrote in the Bible. So I went back through here and I pulled from here for these verses. And then again, why a faith study? Well, I add in, God gave us Jesus. He sent us all hope in this world as well as the afterlife. Now, I'm also currently doing a study in Romans in that same planner. And I recall that there were verses in here related to hope. So I went forward, and you can always I use the YouVersion Bible app. You can use it on your computer. You can use it on your phone if you have a smartphone. And you can even, I believe there's a search bar. So if you want to put hope in Jesus into the search bar, it's certainly way better than doing it in Google. I'm telling you right now, because you're going to get everything in Google. But I think you can do that in the YouVersion Bible app because I have searched for plans and so forth that way. So I added in verses about hope from Romans, which St. Paul wrote his letter to the Romans. Romans 15:13, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. Jesus is the reason for the season. Then I am particularly fascinated with the biblical references to the lineage of Jesus. So I looked back in Isaiah. I remember something about it in there, and I went back and rooted out a verse. But I also remembered my favorite gospel is Matthew. And so I went to the book of Matthew, which I was right. The first chapter goes through the lineage of Jesus. And last year I used the book, The Women of the Bible Speak. I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. And the one chapter, she always compares two different women. So the first is Sarah and Hagar. Second chapter was Rachel and Leah. Third chapter was Tamar and Ruth, which, to be honest with you, I didn't know enough about either woman, okay? But she traces the genealogy of Jesus through Tamar. And if you don't know the story, it's quite something. It really is. I guess I could find that video and drop that below too, and Ruth. But through these two, Ruth was a Moabite. I remember that. She was not an Israelite. Tamar was spurned by her father-in-law. It's a whole thing. But when you go back through, God uses this woman, or I guess I should say these women, and through them we have Jesse, and then we have the father of David, the Psalms, the King David, and then we have the lineage of Jesus. I wrote a letter to Jesus in hope. Here again, a little bit different. So I did add in Isaiah, verses from Isaiah, but I also put down, how do I put my hope in Jesus, right? Through prayer in good and bad times, by understanding why God sent him to us and embracing him, and by trying to put good into the world. Now, this is where again, you'll see it in my devotional if you read it. As I said, my favorite gospel is Matthew. And my favorite upon my favorite from the Sermon on the Mount, it's Matthew 5, the Beatitudes. And for me, okay, two things. This has always been my go-to verse of the Bible when I need to get my head on right, or my head and my heart are at odds. I go to the Beatitudes because there's Jesus saying, you know, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you, and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. True story. My mother passed away, and my reading was actually from the book of Romans for her service. The gospel that was used by the pastor for the service was the Beatitudes. And I didn't know that it was going to be. It's my go-to. And I sat there and I just welled up because I thought, my Lord, there is a message of hope in the face of loss and so forth. And sorry, I'm tearing up, but that's my go-to for hope. When I need hope, that's my verse. So I would encourage you to create an Advent journal if you haven't seen my video already. I want to show you how I did it. And again, I'm offering you the free devotional. So You may take parts of it, bits of it, all of it. It's up to you, but that's from my heart to yours. Whew. Whew, I didn't expect to get that emotional. Sorry, friends. So here we have a Bible study, and I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to do some creativity in here and talk about creating a Bible/faith study on a budget. And I want to show you what I've done. Now, I started in this space like this in last October. I pick up things on sale. Let's start there. This beauty was a little over $5. I had discs I bought on sale. These are not the mini discs. They're larger. This is from the Happy Planner. I know people who get notebooks from Dollar Tree and then take out the inserts and punch them. That's very good, I think. If you're looking for another inexpensive alternative, Blue Sky planners, they're available at Target and Walmart and Staples. And I've gone to all three of those places and done little shorts on them. Walmart has great options, so it doesn't have to be this. I happen to like the discs and I like the rings. This is my own self-guided study in the Psalms. Now, obviously, I didn't start with Psalm 19. I had done before this, but I took that out so I could, go forward. But look, all I'm doing is using the YouVersion Bible app yet again, and I'm using low-cost deco because I like to combine creativity and faith. So here we are in October. All right, and what I did is, let me just show you. These are vertical boxes, and I find them hard to write in unto themselves, which is why, excuse me, I put in the stickers to give me more space, or I just create my own lines. So whatever the planner looks like to you, you can redo it and change that to your liking. So this one, I used a paper pack that I picked up from Hobby Lobby and stickers I'd had. Again, very inexpensive markers I picked up on Amazon. I can link them below. They're really pretty, actually. And see, it looks like, to me, it looks like a scrapbook. That's my take on this, and I love it. I love how it turned out. And yeah, so I think we're going to do something a little different this month. But I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can come up with Bible study on a budget, because clearly things are expensive and we don't have money to burn, do we? So a lot of people in the community of planning and journaling buy all the expensive sticker books and all of this and all of that. I buy things on sale. I buy things on Mercari. I don't spend tons of money. I'm not ragging on anyone who spends money. Don't misinterpret me. What I'm saying, though, is you can do these things and be creative on a budget, and also know that I've built up my supplies over the past 5 years, which is quite a long time. So this is an expensive paper. It's colored. I think right now it's sold out on the Happy Planner site, but that doesn't mean they won't be back. But you can use any kind of paper. It doesn't have to be this one. I just want to add some color here. And I'm going to continue working on my study in the Psalms for December in here. It's just self-guided. It's, you can use the YouVersion Bible app. Some denominations, some churches, I have this old one sitting here. Let me grab this. Have these books which offer, I'm Lutheran, I don't know what your church does, but there's verses, there's prayer concerns, there's other further readings, a small prayer. I just find books, little booklets like these that I pick up for free, great. And I also find them extremely helpful, especially if we're not going away per se, but if I was away, I did go back home for my mom's service, and I needed all the faith things at that moment. Now you can see here, I don't cut things straight. I have visual challenges. I have a chronic illness called scleroderma. You probably haven't heard of it. Most people haven't. And believe it or not, even though it's related to my skin and my organs and my this and that, it affected my eyesight. And yeah, don't feel bad for me. I don't feel bad for me. Please don't. All I'm saying is, if it weren't for modern medicine, I think I would not have a lot of my eyesight. So thankfully I was able to have surgery on it, but I still have some challenges, shall we say. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. What is perfect, right? I pulled this out. I think this is really pretty. So we're just going to kind of add a little bit of pops of color here and there. We're just going to make it pretty and then see what we decide to do. I don't know. Am I going to use this or not? I'm not sure, but I guess we could. This is really pretty. This also is from Hobby Lobby. Full price is $2.99. When I bought it, I picked it up for 20% off. And let me tell you something, friends. When it's 20% off, I am here for it. Really. So you may not have stickers, right? You can also use paper instead of stickers like I am. The other thing is, if you don't want to buy a Tombow adhesive, there is an alternative. Old-fashioned glue sticks. Sometimes I use them. I prefer these adhesives. I also buy these on Amazon now. But yeah, I like zhuzhing this up. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. Put it right there. So number one, try a free Bible app. I use YouVersion. I believe Hallow is another one you can look into and try. I think that could be interesting. Incidentally, these I picked up on sale from Echo Park. I haven't used them yet, so let's have some fun in here. But you can find something online like that. You may want to use a denominational Bible study depending on what your denomination is. So there's that. You can also sometimes find, for example, Prayerful Planner offers free Bible studies. But she emails them. It's Prayerful Planner. So you might be able to find something like that could be of interest to you. Okay. Be careful online. That's why I bring up denominational studies, because you might find some things that aren't quite good. So whatever your denomination of your church is, if you don't have a church or an affiliation, well, just be careful is all I'm saying, because sometimes there's strange people on these sites. You have to be discerning about what you're going to do. But again, something like Prayerful Planner, she has free Bible studies every month. And I am on her email list. I haven't been using it as of late. I've been trying my own thing here and creating my own, which is a long-standing dream of mine, and the fact that I'm doing it is, I'm really excited to bring these to you. I am. I did it last year for the first time, and yeah, I was really proud of this, actually. And in some ways, it's even more meaningful this year, given, you know, the situation with my mom. And so I'm really glad to be sharing these moments with you. I'm going to bring these up a little bit and do this one. And this one. So this is very low cost deco that looks good, but it adds something to your planner without you feeling like, gee, you know, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. So get some paper, okay? Get some paper from somewhere. The reason why I'm suggesting that, so find something at Dollar Tree, like the person I said who commented to me that that's what she was doing. She was taking low-cost items and repurposing them, and I loved that. I love that so much. And then find these I picked up on Amazon. They were inexpensive. Realize when you're dealing with something like a stencil or a marker or a ruler or a stamp, what you're doing is you're reusing these items. So unlike a sticker, once you put it down, it's done. So get some paper. Well, okay, let me try this again. Number one, pick a study. As I said, YouVersion Bible app. Really look around. I will have free studies for Advent. You're welcome to use them. Just, you know, again, it's my intellectual property, so I ask you not to reproduce them without sourcing. I'm an academic, so sorry, I'm all about the sourcing. And then what I'd like you to do is to pick out something to write on, and could be a little composition notebook. It doesn't have to be something like this. I just like playing, and I like the creativity of these spaces. I really do. So that's why I do this. And for me, as with most people, if you write something down, you are far likely to remember it, which is why when it came to creating the Advent devotional and writing from in the book that I created and writing a devotional, that's why I was able to go back to the book of Isaiah, because I said, oh, wait, I remember this. And so by writing it down, you are further committing it to your memory, which is a blessing in many ways. So number one, find a no-cost study. Number two, find inexpensive paper. And number three, if you can afford it, buy reusable deco, like stamps, like stencils. Hobby Lobby, incidentally, has a great selection of stencils and inexpensive items that you can reuse in your planners. And so I would like to encourage you to look at that. Let's see here. Okay, we got one done, right? One done. I'm probably going to do 2 weeks in here with you, and I'll show you. Hold on. All right, well, let me put this back in. Now, this isn't extraordinary. It's paper with a bunch of lines and a few stenciled snowflakes. There's nothing extraordinary that I'm doing, friends, but yet I'm making it mine, and I'm making it unique. And that's what I love about it. I do love this space. I love playing here. And again, I have built all of these up through years and years. Now, what am I doing here? Let's see here. What color do we want? Maybe like I don't have red, but I do this pink. So I think we will cut down a piece of pink. And I'm only doing that, well, I'm doing it for two reasons. To add color, but then I'm also doing it to, whatchamacallit, so I don't write in these little boxes. And you may say to yourself, which would be a fair question, well, if you don't write in the little boxes, why did you pick this up? Because I liked the cover, because I could use the boxes in some way, shape, or form, even if they're not as they intended, and because this cost me under $6. That's why. I think those are all really good reasons, in my opinion, just saying. So, yeah. I think we can put this over here, and I want to try to straighten it out a little bit. I've gotten so many new subscribers, and I appreciate you for being here. And I hope, I really, really, truly mean this, I hope that I'm inspiring you in your own studies in some way, shape, or form. That's my hope anyway. And, you know, we all face so many challenges, my illness, losing my mom. But if we stay in faith, that's really what matters. And I do believe in miracles. I absolutely do. That's part of my faith belief. When I was first diagnosed, I was a teenager, and here we are decades later, and they told me that all these horrible things were going to happen to me. Scleroderma was a rough illness, and they basically had my future laid out for me, and it didn't look so great. And I went through a lot. I'm not going to fib here. I went through a lot, but I did stay in faith, and my family stayed in faith. And in doing so, does that mean, is that why I haven't had it as badly as other people? No, I don't believe that. But my mindset has been very different than other people, because I know that, like, I'm willing to accept, I think I'm going to wait on that. I'm willing to accept how this unfolds in my life, if that makes sense. I feel like I just have to lean in and let God and work with my body to the best of my ability. Not always easy, but I'm trying. So when I get things crooked, when they don't come out right, you know what? I'm okay with it. Now again, I got this, the stencils, these dies and a whole paper collection for under $20 on sale at Echo Park this year. I really am the bargain person here. Do I want to use the stamps? I thought I did, but maybe I'll just use another part of the stencil. I use my stamp block as a spot for my tea. I know it's kind of weird, but let's use this one, and I can link this below for you. This is a nice little set. And if you haven't used inks before, these mini kits are great because it gives you several choices without having to buy the larger size. I only bought the larger sizes, A, on sale, and B, after I'd been using some of those inks before. So I think we are going to go again here with this, but I think I want to put it on the side, or maybe in over here. Yeah, let's put it on the side here. I think that would be kind of fun. So this will be a brighter, but why not? Anyway, so you can start, let me say this. I've said this before on other videos. Doesn't matter where you start in terms of your Bible study. Just start, okay? No, I think I will do it down here. I don't know. Just start. Come where you are. If you fall behind, that's okay. I showed you the book that I'm using, Isaiah. I used Isaiah, now I'm in Romans. When I tell you I'm going at my own pace, even in the YouVersion Bible app, they had the study, I think, gosh, here we are. It's the day before Thanksgiving that I'm filming this. And truth be told, I believe if I look at where I'm supposed to be, like I should be done the study, like I'm still, according to the study, in October. That's how slow I'm going. But that's okay. You know, it's not on the world's timetable. This is on God's timetable. I'm actually trying to get a little bit in the middle here too. I want to get some in there. There we go. Yeah, I like that a lot. Good, I'm glad I did that. And I'm going to do the same thing over here and try to get some in the middle as well. So your timetable is your timetable. Just come wherever you are, whatever moment you're in. The important thing is to get there, okay? Just come as you are, because the God who made you wants to see, you know, wants you to come closer to him. And it doesn't have to be on the timetable on the app or other people. Just show up, you know. And Advent, as I said last week, is such a great place to begin. It's the start of the liturgical year for Christians. It's everything, you know. Jesus's origin story has so much to teach us, but we have to be open to learning and to listening and to growing and so forth. So yes, please just start wherever you are. Start today. Whoops. Just start today, because if you wait till tomorrow, then the next thing you know, it's the next day and the next day and the next day, and boom. Recognize, friends, that God wants you to meet him where you are and where he is. And so whatever you can do to grow in your faith, now's the time to do it. Advent is the perfect season to do it. I know the world's busy. I know there's a lot of expectations on you, but that's all the more reason to push back against the world and to say, no, I am a child of the Most High Living God. And I am going to do what I need to do, and I'm not going to worry about the sale at Target today. I'm going to spend time with the Lord, you know? And so I would strongly urge you to start wherever you may be at this exact moment. I dug through my notes. I wanted to go rinse off my stencil because I don't want the ink to dry. But as I did that, I looked. And I do have some notes here I want to share with you about why do I do faith and creativity like this. It's really quite simple, okay? And I've talked about this before, but again, just a reminder. Let me start by saying I never thought I was creative. So there's that. Never, ever did I believe I was in any way, shape, or form creative. But over time, as I got into my studies, I really realized that, wait a minute, I might be able to do this. And oh, wait, maybe I can even inspire other people to do something similar. Oops, I drug that a little bit. So we're going to just make that line bigger. And yeah, that's okay. So think about this, okay? And you don't have to do it as exactly I'm doing it. I watch plenty of YouTube for inspiration, and then I take a little, it's like when I bake. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I add it to the pot, so to speak. Well, who's the ultimate creative? Who's the ultimate in creativity? Obviously, it's God, right? God is creative. He created the world. He created humanity. He gave us intellect. He gave us our abilities. He gave us capabilities. And he, gave us an appreciation to enjoy the world around us. So God is the ultimate creative. Think about that one for a moment. So how, why creativity and faith? Why do I do all these things? Because it improves focus, right? Being creative in this space helps my writing. I'm a better writer because I'm creative. You may be a happier person because you turn to creativity. You may be more inspired, right? You may find this influencing your life and work in other areas. That's what creativity does. It's something that you can't use it up. You simply have it, and it is a gift from God. And so when I say to you, one of my favorites, right? Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. That's Psalm 100, verse 1. Well, a lot of people always think of that as singing, of course, right? Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Well, some of us are not so gifted in the singing department. And so this here, these pages, these studies, this channel, this is my joyful noise. This is my space to meet with God and to show up and to try to put some good out there. And so when I'm telling you to make a joyful noise, I'm not just saying it, I'm living it. And by coming on here, by sharing creativity in these moments, I'm also trying to say to you, show you the most rudimentary ways that you can do this and be creative. And I have visual challenges. I have this challenge. I have scleroderma challenges, right? I am not going to let my eyesight or lack thereof stop me from creating. And so when you create, yeah, that kind of works. You're improving your focus. It's an intentional. It's also, have you ever thought of this? I know you're watching this. I know this is like, oh, sorry, coughing jag. Excuse me. Yet another joyful bit of my illness. Anyway, have you ever thought about this? And yes, I know you're watching this on a screen, and I watch YouTube too as well. But being in these spaces and doing this, you're pushing back against the world and what the world wants you to do. The world emphasizes, I don't want to say it. The world emphasizes productivity at the expense of everything else and talks about success. Well, that's in opposition to what God wants for us. I'm not saying God doesn't want us to be successful and reap the fruits of our labors. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, however, is that time spent doing things like this, time spent in a Bible study, is time that you're not in the world, but you're spending it with God. And that's why I say, start today. Start where you are. Start with who you are, because you matter to God and He wants you in these spaces with Him. I think that's something people don't realize. Another thing that people have talked to me about on this channel through the comments is that you have all the stuff and you don't know where to start, so you don't start because you want to do it right. That's called perfectionism, and that is something I myself have suffered mightily from. So when I tell you I understand, boy, do I understand. And so what I want to say to you is to push against the world and to temper dealing with those expectations that manifest themselves in anxiety, in perfectionism, and so forth. Come to God. Come to God in a study and open your heart and open your head and say, okay, Lord, you know, one of the things I have said in my prayers previously, and I think my mom said something similar in hers, basically, Lord, I have tried it my way and it hasn't really worked well. So I think I need to try it your way, and I need you to guide me through here. And that little prayer will help you. It will help God to step in and guide you. And realize that. That's not saying you're a failure. If anything, that shares your strength in saying to God, all right, you know, I recognize there's so much more you can do than I'm doing. And I want to come to you for that. And when you do that and you open your heart, open your head to him, he will meet you. He just will. As I mentioned earlier, I have a chronic illness and I've been living with it for a very long time. So I have a rare disease, and then within that rare disease, I'm a rare case because a lot of people get extremely, they can't, like their organs shut down, they have all kinds of problems. You know, do you remember the actor Bob Saget from Full House? His sister died from scleroderma, and he was really quite active in the community with fundraising, with awareness. She had rapid onset, and unfortunately it hit her really incredibly hard, and she did pass away from it. So far, I'm not there. I do have some internal issues, as I mentioned, my eyesight, but the truth of the matter is, I know it could be worse. I'm aware of what's on the other side of this. And by staying in faith, I don't get lost in the weeds of that. When I find myself struggling with something, oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm getting it under the ruler and it's dragging it a little bit. That's okay. When I see myself struggling, though, I turn to God and say, okay, you know, you got to pull me out here. You got to help me. And I am willing to accept whatever this illness brings me, but I need your help to get through it. And he's always there for me. And that's why I come on here and share with you. Do not, please do not feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for me. That's not why I'm talking about this. I'm good. Okay, I am solid. But I want you to know that as humans, we face some of the worst adversities. And if we stay in faith, we get strengthened, we grow, we learn, even in the toughest circumstances. And that's my message. You matter, okay? You matter to God. Oops. Ooh, I think I messed this one up. All right, I'm going to have to peel this oh, it's coming up too. This happens. It's not unheard of. I'm just going to crush it down and let it be. And if it's uneven, it's uneven. Woof. You matter to God. God created you. God wants you to be you. And in my case, did God give me this illness? Well, this is just how my system is. I don't know how or why, but I really do accept it. I do accept it because who am I to argue with God's creativity and his creations? I mean, really? What have I got? You know, I'm just me out here scrubbing along. But if I can help you see the beauty inside of you and the beauty that God provides you, then I feel like I've accomplished something really great. So, yeah, I guess that's my message for today. As we enter into Advent and we're in a new year for the church and we're in a new year in faith, I just want to come to you and say, okay, let's go. Now's the time to celebrate and rejoice and renew and this week in particular, I would love it if you could find hope in your heart for yourself and the people around you. I would love it if you could find renewal in Jesus, again, for yourself as well as the people around you. And if you're with people who don't believe, you just pray them up and stay the course. You know, there's nothing wrong with that in terms of how you approach them. Stay the course, right? Do what you need to do to share faith. And no, you know what, I'm going to try it over here. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. Do what you need to do to grow in faith and to grow in Jesus. And do it on a budget. Because guess what? At the end of the day, all the fanciness and all the expensive this and that and the best Bible studies, and you know what matters to God? That you're present and that you're with him in this moment. That's what matters. You matter. Your time with him matters. And so, yeah, that's... All right, I need to clean up a minute here. Okay, friends, we're just going to add a few little new other touches. I have some washi tape. I have some stickers. Yes, I know I said you don't have to use stickers, but since I have them, I'm trying to use these up. So I'm just going to add a few bits and bobs here, a few more points. I was talking about being creative in God, right? It infuses your life with perspective. It infuses your life with joy. There's a book by a man, I think it's Rick Rubin, The Creative Art. And he talks about, and I think this is really quite spectacular. He talks about how Jesus recreates our souls. And I think that's something we can really kind of sink our teeth into, isn't it? Jesus recreates us. And in doing so, we're born anew. And so being creative, he upends tradition by bringing light to those marginalized and left behind. And the truth is we should be using our own creative talents for good, to put good into this world. And when I look at it that way, I feel so... That's a word. I feel so empowered. I feel like sharing this with you is just an incredible gift. And that's why, you know, I come on here and I share things with you because I'm so moved in the spirit. And yeah, you know, God gives you gifts. You're supposed to share them and do good. And so I just wanted to bring that to you today in this space because I do feel... I guess I'll just put a little bit here. I do feel that we can grow together. And yes, I do emphasize the budget aspect of it in my creating because we all don't have a lot of money, but you have talent. And even if you don't have a lot of time, hopefully you have a little touch of time where you can give. And that makes all the difference to God. Use your talents where and when you can, friends. It's a mandate, if you will. And so coming to you, yes, start where you are, start a faith study. Now's the time to do it. Advent is the absolute perfect time to begin. I'd love to hear in the comments if you are beginning and you know, and again, I was interrupted, friends. Sorry about that. So I used some of this pet tape from my Simply Gilded subscription box. I added in a little extra. You don't have to use stickers. I just did, and the light's fading, so I got to get this done here. So while I was on the phone, I was playing. So here's the final product, and it's beautiful. And it's a wonderful way to celebrate and herald the birth of Jesus. Even though the studies in the Psalms, remember, Jesus is descended from King David, and that's part of why I find the Psalms so meaningful and encouraging and so forth. So thank you for joining me, friends. I appreciate you. If I can pray for you, let me know in the comments. Get creative. Find a low-cost to no-cost Bible study and make this Advent meaningful. If I can pray for you, let me know in the comments. Have a blessed day. Bye now.